You're not allowed to speak.
There's been a lot of talk about freedom of speech. What does that mean? Is it just restricted here in the US, or are there other countries that also have restrictions on freedom of speech?
Yeah. Late night television host has got a lot of play lately, saying that the U.S., specifically the administration, is not allowing free speech. Uh, but we have both lived in lots of countries around the world, and it would not take but a couple of minutes to anyone to do a quick search and see that what we're going to spend the next 3 or 4 minutes saying is actually true. America still is the best country to live in for freedom of speech. What are some examples of some of the countries?
And for a lot of other reasons, but yeah. Some of the other countries include North Korea, China, Syria, Japan. Freedom of speech is not universally allowed with just zero restrictions, anything goes kind of thing. Most countries do have different categories of things you can and cannot say, things that you can be arrested for, and even get charges against you. So you have to do your research. I just did a quick Google search on it, and we kind of will go through, and I'll show this to you on the screen here as well, about freedom of speech, and the examples of the different countries with restrictions, as well as the different types of restrictions.
Yeah, I mean, specifically, I've lived in Japan for a number of years. Japan you can be criminally charged for acts of defamation, insult, intimidation. You're not allowed to interrupt a politician while a politician is speaking. You could be criminalized for that. United Kingdom. I know that I've seen people flying back home to the United Kingdom being arrested at the airport for something they posted on social media from
While
a different
they were
country.
outside of the country.
Outside the country.
I mean, and talking about as far as like big gatherings, protests, those kinds of things, there's even more restrictions on that than some of what we have here. But
yeah, I mean, when we lived in Singapore, there were people that used to do what was called a flash dance or a mob dance. You had to get permission from the government to even congregate to do
a flash mob.
A flash mob, that's what it was called, a flash mob.
Yeah.
They do not allow people to congregate because it's just against the law. They also strictly monitor what they search on the internet. So when you talk about freedom of speech, it's not just what comes out of your mouth, but what you're allowed to read, research, what you're allowed to write, what you're allowed to put on the internet, what you're allowed to search on the internet. I mean, even North and South Korea, they are not allowed to speak to each other. It's a crime, and we'll put it on the screen, but it's a crime for people in North Korea to get information from people in South Korea.
Wow. I mean, it's just there may be lots of people out there that just really have not traveled a lot, or maybe they haven't traveled outside the country, or if they have traveled, it's been kind of what I call like in a bubble, like you go maybe to a military base, but then you don't ever leave the base. You just go to the grocery there, you go to your fellow military spouses and families and the clubs and things that are there, and you don't ever actually go explore the country that you're in. You may not understand or have that full picture, but do some research, look online, use AI to get information on, I hear people saying, threatening to leave the United States and go somewhere else to live permanently. Look into that. See what rights you have and don't have if you actually become a citizen of another country.
In my opinion, is if you're threatening to leave the U.S., then please leave the U.S. Apparently, you have not been a lot of places. If you were so distraught with living here that you think somewhere else is better, then go somewhere else. That's just my jaded opinion after living overseas in various different places. And just to touch back on the late night television host, you know, his freedom of speech was not attacked. He still has the freedom to do anything he wants to do. But we also have the freedom to change the channel or turn off the TV. He has the freedom to go do a podcast. He has the freedom to gather people in a large auditorium and talk to them. He's got his job back, but yeah, his freedom of speech was not imposed upon. You want to see someone imposing on freedom of speech? Go to some of the countries we talked about, some of the countries we've put in our list for you to check out. And remember, speak your mind. That's what we're doing now.
Yeah, because we have the right to do it right here in the good old US of A.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think. Let us know what you find. Are there other countries that are better as far as freedom of speech is concerned than the United States? We would love to hear it, and put a tag or a link where you are getting the information from, because I'd love to look at that. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.